So we're getting up in the morning and leaving Uppsala, heading further north into Sweden to one of the provinces known as Dalarna. Dalarna is famous for a lot of things. It's a really beautiful part of Sweden. Kind of when you think about the classic turn of the century Swedish ideal, Dalarna comes to mind. But it is also known as the land of wooden horses. The weather today is about perfect for travel. It's slightly cloudy, but no precipitation. And we watch the scenery go by. Beautiful lakes, beautiful forests, beautiful scenery. The foxgloves are in full bloom and line the road. Soon Lake Sill comes into view and we know that we're in Dalarna. From here we take a couple small country roads to check out one of the many wooden horse factories where you can buy Darla hästar. Nils Olsson's Darla Hästfabrik is a nice little stop. It's pretty touristy, but it's got lots of cute wooden horses. You can watch them from the production is a block of wood all the way to the end to see them painted, and of course there's a wonderful gift shop. Also happens that this store houses a Mora knife outlet. One of the products famous in Dalarna are these wonderfully strong Swedish steel knives you can use for pretty much anything. Once we get to Nils Olsson's, we can see the carpenters working on those horses. Those bandsaws are pretty amazing, but it's also pretty scary watching how quickly they work. It's a wonderful production facility. It smells like paint and pine. It's kind of magical. In the self-guided tour, you get to see horses in all different stages of production. Of course, you also get to see the painting of the horses. They do more than just the traditional red color. They do blue, pink, white, you name it, they paint it. Okay, so here we are in Mora at our cottage. You can see we got our trusty Volvo parked out front here. Audrey's playing in the background. And then there's a cottage there. It's beautiful. It's exactly what we need for the summer. A little mosquito net. Walk in. Efficiency bathroom with shower, sink, toilet, and a washing machine, which surprised us. Entryway. Make sure you leave your shoes off since you're in a Swedish building. And close the Swedish mosquito net behind us.
Papa, yes. Look at the flowers!
Oh wow, those are beautiful. Alright, Tanya's unpacking our food in our kitchen. Got a nice full-size stove, full-size fridge, wood fireplace, which is cool. You want to cook on a wood stove, but it's a little too hot for that. And then move into this room. We got a little dinette, living room, fold-out couch. Victoria's making herself at home journaling. And then we've got our bedroom here. This little secretary. Of course, we got our bag, nice double bed, our iron high, and nice little view out the window. So that's our home for the next couple days. Not too shabby, eh? Before we head into Mora proper, we have a wonderful breakfast after a nice sleep in our cabin. Tanya and I get up and go for a nice run along the river by our cottage and through the woods. Mosquitoes were slightly an issue. That morning we headed into downtown Mora, checked out the main street, lots of cute little shops. But our main attraction was the Anders Zorn Garden, or Anders Zorn Farm, and Anders Zorn House. This house is a great representation of the National Romantic style. Zorn was a Swedish Impressionist painter. He's also a collector of silver. Here's his silver collection at his museum. cameras weren't allowed in the house proper, but we had a wonderful tour and got to walk around the garden. So you can see Zorn's studio to the right and the house to the left. Beautiful kind of turn of the century interior and design. Just about the time where things like electricity and central heating and hot water heaters were coming into effect. So what do you got there?
A strawberry kebab on a pretzel stick.
Okay, let's show you what it does. Is it good? Time in Dalarna was too short, but Tanya and I got one last run in before we headed out to our next stage of our adventure. Some southern provinces this week. Hey Audrey.
Hi.
Hey Victoria.
Hi.
Ready for a long road trip today?
Yes. Today we are leaving Mora in Dalarna and we're heading to Trollhattan and hopefully get to see the Saab Museum today. I'm not sure if we're going to make it or not. We've got about 5-ish hours of driving ahead of us, just shy of 400 kilometers. So it should be cool. Victoria and Audrey, you doing okay in the back there? Yeah.
You comfy?
Yeah, sort of. Kind
Yeah. Tanya, how's the car driving?
of. Smoothly.
This drive took us through several provinces. We started in Dalarna, drove through Värmland, Dalsland, spent some time in Bohuslän out on the western coast of Sweden, and all the way down to Västergötland. But it was a great trip, and as you can see, the scenery changes slowly over time, from flat forests to lakes and rivers, to hills and moraines, to flat coastal plains and agricultural land. Sweden really has a varied landscape when you take the time to drive, but 500 kilometers, 400 kilometers of driving, you see a lot of that landscape, a lot of pine trees. The best parts of this trip is our rented mild hybrid diesel Volvo V60 wagon. This trusty car took us all over the provinces of Sweden, some great scenery, both as a passenger and as a driver. It was great to roll some Swedish steel through the Swedish countryside. A little bit of cliche, but also well worth it. And if you ever make it to Sweden, spend a couple dollars and rent yourself a Volvo. It really adds to the cultural charm and experience of roadside Sweden. Sometimes surprises happen before you expect it. I was filming on the way and a bee flew in the window and hit me direct in my sunglasses. You can see the camera's kind of out of control here. I'm trying to get the bee out the window.
Show the girl in the glasses. What happened? You got bud guts on his glasses.
Bud guts on my glasses. Check it out. That's crazy.
In my purse, there's some cat.
You know, and in true Swedish summer fashion, the weather went from sunny to rainy in an instant. Where we're lucky that this was the last half of the day, but it was kind of fun to drive through the rainy roads of Sweden and see how the scenery changed in the kind of gray, cloudy, and rainy afternoon. While we rented a Volvo, I was always a big fan of Saab, so it's exciting for me to visit the Saab Museum. It's across from a beautiful canal with a lifty bridge that we had to stop and watch. But this was our destination. We had about an hour before the Saab Museum closed. We were slightly rushed, but it was well worth the visit to check out the history of Saab cars, see some of our dream cars, see some cars that I've actually owned. Had a convertible Saab at one time. I had another little hatchback 5-door Saab station wagon that I love. But it was really cool to check out the museum, watch the evolution of the Saab cars, kind of mourn the loss of this car brand, but know that there's a dedicated following, and to know that there's still quite a few Saabs in daily use in Sweden. As we finished looking at some of Trollhattan's best automobiles ever produced, Trollhattan being a great production area, kind of a gritty, industrialized city in Sweden, we settled into our hotel, which is downtown Trollhattan. And one of the cool things about our hotel is it overlooked one of these wonderful lifty bridges, or articulated bridges. And in the rain, we got to watch out the hotel window as this bridge did its job, so the boats going through the area could get through the canals and not interfere traffic too much.
Missed it.
good night's sleep, we left our apartment and headed towards the island of Tjörn, which is part of Bohuslän, out on the west coast of Sweden. I'd read about the west coast of Sweden throughout my time in Sweden and always thought, oh well, there's probably just one cute little village that everybody Instagrams and everybody goes to. And man, was I wrong. The entire west coast is absolutely gorgeous. It's all just a picture postcard perfect area with beautiful farms and old fishing villages along the west coast of Sweden. It was really beautiful. I really was surprised how amazing it was. I wish we'd have spent more time there. Unfortunately, the day went quickly and we drove through a couple of locations. Really explored the island of Tjörn by car. As we drove around, we saw lots of people out on bikes, lots of people picnicking, a lot of people having a really good time. I really hope to go back and explore this area in more depth with my family. One of the first places we stopped on the island of Tjörn was Trollhattan. Quite a bigger little town. It has quite a large marina with a lot of pleasure boats. A couple working boats in the harbor as well. You can see it's kind of a harbor sheltered by those rocky outcrops, so it keeps the worst of the storms away. It allows the boats to kind of have a safety harbor. But it was a beautiful little town. We got there just as kind of the town was opening up, the stores were opening up, so we had the boardwalks and the marina to ourselves, walking around, enjoying the crisp, clear morning. Definitely had to wear a sweater, it's a little windy. But blown away by how cute these little west coast towns are. Once again, worth going back, exploring, maybe spending a couple nights in these towns. There's like sailboats and stuff on the west coast, and it smells like seafood. What are we doing today?
So today we're gonna finish driving the 3.5 hours I think to our cottage, but we're gonna take lots of stops on the way on the west coast, I think.
Yep.
Hungry for lunchtime, we headed on a little island off the coast of Tjörn called Trollhattan. Kind of a classic fishing village, famous for its capture and harvesting of primarily herring. I'm sure there's also a little cod fishing from here, but we found, using the wonderful internet, a cute little boutique restaurant called Sill, and had an amazing lunch there. But we also explored the little island, walked around a little bit, enjoyed the scenery. And once again, I was blown away by the fact that the whole west coast, these little towns, these little villages, they look exactly like the guide's book shows. And it's not just one location, but there's lots of places to explore, lots of little nooks and crannies and cute old fishing houses and harbors. A lot of boats out in the water around these islands, so you can kind of watch the boats go by. And of course, like I said, lots of people on bicycles enjoying
Give me some time to blow that down. As I was walking down Paradise Street, blow that down. A saucy young damsel I happened to meet. Give me some time to blow that down. I says to her, Pallion, how do you do? To be blow that down. Says she, none the better for seeing of you. Give me some time to blow them down. Oh, sailors as tinkers and tailors as men, beware, blow them down. And for all of us coming to see you again. Oh, give me some time to blow them down. We'll blow them and cut them, we'll blow them.
You have reached your destination.
Blow them down, blow them away into Liverpool town. Give me some time to blow them down. Give me some time to blow them down. Give me time. Give me time. Give me time. Give me time.
Having parked our car, we grabbed a seat at Sill. Surprise, we got a seat out on the balcony this beautiful afternoon. I had a deep sea fish. The girls had, of course, the Swedish classic fiskbollar, which they loved. Tanya had a West Coast rek, macka or shrimp sandwich, and man, it was huge, it was delicious. All the food was amazing and fresh, and the entertainment included a cute little plant with a bumblebee that just couldn't get enough nectar from those plants. But we sat there and we watched the bumblebees and we watched the little pleasure craft go by as we finished our afternoon before we headed to our next location, further down on the coast, the southern coast of Sweden. We had quite a bit of a drive left until our next destination in southern Sweden, in Skåne, the city of Lund. We went to a little house out in the countryside. But we were getting close to the Swedish holiday of Midsummer. So the next episode, we'll share with you our celebrations of Midsummer in Dalsland.